Thank you for tuning in to the UC San Diego Mi Camino student series. We'll be taking a look at the diverse journeys of Latinx and Chicanx students as they tell us how they made their way to and through college. Today, we're talking with Jalene Hernandez. Jalene is a graduating fifth-year student who studies aerospace engineering. She found sisterhood in her participation in Sigma Pi Alpha and community in the social and political org MECHA, which is the Latinx and Chicanx student org. Thank you for being here with us today, Jalene.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So could you start us off with telling us a little bit about yourself? Like, where did you grow up and where's your family from?
Yeah, so hi, my name's Jalene, as you mentioned. I'm fifth year. I'm graduating this June, studying aerospace engineering. I'm originally from Los Angeles, specifically South Central, LA, which is a small neighborhood south of downtown.
Where is your family from?
Oh, my family's originally from Mexico. My mom's from Jalisco specifically.
Nice. So growing up, what was your family's view on college? Like, were you expected to go to college?
Not really. So my mom's education ended around elementary or early middle school, so she didn't really know or understand the concept of college, and neither did I up until my junior year of high school. So I don't think the expectation was really there, but I knew that I really enjoyed school and that it was an opportunity that I would like to have.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like mom didn't really help out with the college application process and she herself didn't navigate it. But do you remember any advice that your mom gave you about school/college going?
Yeah, so even though my mom wasn't able to help me, in my homework during high school or like navigating the college applications, she understood that higher education was a really big part of my success in the future. So she would always tell me in Spanish, like, échale muchas ganas, which means just, work really hard and anything that you do and understand that this is like a great opportunity for you and just keep continuing even though like it may be difficult.
Yeah. So how did you navigate college applications?
Yeah, so that was a little bit tricky. I came from like an under-resourced high school, so we didn't have that many resources in the school in general, and college wasn't really the goal for many students. So I I sought for mentorship within my teachers and my high school counselor. Specifically, my physics mentor was one of the people who were really pushing me to join or to apply for college.
Nice. So then how did you decide that you wanted to come to UCSD?
The way that our teachers kind of navigated pushing us towards college was ranking the colleges in terms of, I guess, highest prestige or highest ranking within California. And I really looked at UCSD because it has a great engineering program. I knew that I wanted to do engineering, I think, around my junior year of high school. And so I was just like researching like highest engineering programs in California. And UCSD was one of the top ones also. I really enjoy the beach. So I thought that the location of UCSD was going to be like really fun. I was going to enjoy my time there.
Yeah, UCSD does really have nice beaches nearby. So you're from LA. So SD is like about 2 hours away, and I know that you're a single child and you live with a single parent. So how did mom feel about you going away to UCSD, even though it's just like 2 hours away?
Yeah, initially it was really difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm a very family oriented person, and like you said, it's just me and my mom. So I love her so much, and I depended on her, throughout my entire life. So moving away, doing my own laundry, cooking for myself every day, it was a learning curve, obviously, but I think it also affected my mom a lot. I think she fell into kind of like a depressive state a little bit. I think there's this term called like empty nest syndrome, and it's when the parent feels a little bit sad that they're pushing that their kids are going off to college and they stay by themselves. So yeah, she felt a little sad after I left, but I think now we're kind of, you know, it's just what it is. I move back every summer and it's pretty normal now.
Yeah, it takes a little getting used to, huh? But so now I want to know about how you felt like when you first came to UCSD. Tell us a little bit about your first year. Like, did you experience any challenges? And if you did, how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so I went to John C. Fremont High School, which, like I mentioned, is under resourced. It's a primarily black and brown student body. Um, and yeah, we weren't really prepared. Um, we weren't prepared enough, in my opinion, in high school to be ready to go off into college and just dominate our class. The mentality that I had coming into UCSD, I guess, was not mature enough. I assumed that the first week of um, of the quarter would be, like syllabus week, and I wouldn't have to, do so much. But the quarter system itself really took me aback. I didn't really expect it to be so fast paced. I wasn't obviously prepared for the quarter system since in high school it's all semesters. So that really took a toll on me, and quickly I had to try to find some resources on campus to help me, catch up or understand the topics that I didn't understand in lectures. So some of the resources that I used my first year was the Oasis Learning Centers. I would join for my calculus classes and physics courses that I needed for my major. And those really helped because I was also able to, engage with my peers and make new friends along the way while also learning. But it was also really difficult because I entered as a freshman in 2016, and my first quarter was fall of 2016, which was around the time of the 2016 presidential election. And the elections really took a really big toll on me because I was very scared, honestly, for my friends, my family, the peers around me, undocumented students everywhere. It was a really stressful situation, and I think that also hurt my grades. So I also had to rely on, a lot of the TAs, talking to them on a personal level and making sure that they understand my situation and why I might be not doing so well in classes.
November 2016 was a super stressful time. I can only imagine what it was like being out here, like a new chapter in your life, and then it just feeling like a whole total different shift, like in the country as a whole as well. Did you start any research projects during UCSD? Or I guess involved in any programs that were related to your major?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for a short period during my third year, I participated in a student org called RPL, which stands for the Rocket Propulsion Laboratory, and it's a completely student-run group. It's really cool because we get to build a rocket, or participate in a project that ultimately leads to building a rocket. I think it was like a 4 to 6 year long project. So what's really cool is that you get to help the group, and maybe you might graduate and not see the rocket land, but you know that your work was a portion of your work was part to make that rocket, launch. So that's really interesting. I was able to do some SolidWorks there, and engage with other students that are my age and learn along the way, which was an experience that I never had. I do have technical experience in my major, so I have interned at Northrop Grumman for about 6 summers now. I started in junior year of high school, and I have interned every summer since. And in that experience, I engaged with a lot of older engineers, professionals who have graduated long since then, long since me, and it was more like a mentor-mentee relationship. It was really interesting, and I learned so much. But also the student org that I participated at UCSD provided me a different perspective. We all kind of didn't know what we were doing, and we relied on each other a lot to make sure that our final project or our weekly project, whatever deadline we had approaching, it would get accomplished, which I guess looking back at the technical experience that I have at Northrop Grumman, which is an aerospace company, it does follow a lot of the same structure. We have a lot of like technical review meetings, a lot of documentation to follow, which is pretty similar to, real industry experience.
Nice. So I'm assuming you were able to find that contrast. Like, I know at Northrop Grumman, you said it's more of a mentor-mentee type of work where you're maybe paired with someone who's older, and then over here at RPL, at UCSD, you're able to kind of come up with things on your own and get more of a leadership experience, given that all of you are students, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a unique experience.
That's really cool. How did you learn about these two opportunities?
I was part of a STEM-focused org on campus at my high school, and one of the leading teachers provided that opportunity to us and mentioned that it would be a great opportunity. I honestly did not really know what Northrop Grumman did or who they were as a company, but I took the opportunity to my physics teacher, who was my mentor, and he was immediately super excited about this opportunity and told me, "You're going to apply. This is a great opportunity for you. You want to do aerospace, right? This is perfect." At that time, I didn't really know what that meant, but I'm so glad that I took his advice and did that, because that internship really solidified my love for space and aerospace in general. And it led to a bunch of opportunities later on in my life.
How did you find community as a whole at UCSD?
So I participated in 2 main orgs. I would say my sorority, Sigma Pi Alpha, which is a Chicana/Latina sorority here on campus, and Mecha, which is a political and social org also on campus, catered to highlight the needs of specifically Latinx students, but are open to anybody who would like to join.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your sorority? Like, I know that there's like specific pillars and specific goals that the sorority holds. Would you care telling us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so in our sorority, Sigma Pi Alpha, we have pillars. One of them is philanthropy. So our philanthropy is breast cancer awareness, and we host a lot of fundraisers. Before, when school was in person, we would go on library walk and hold fundraisers there to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. Also do the breast cancer walk every year, the relay for life, and other things like that, which I found to hold a great value in my life. Philanthropy is something that I'm very passionate about, just helping others and making sure that I feel useful as a human and able to, help others. So that was a really great part of my experience at UCSD. And since I don't have any siblings, I thought what better way to gain a sister than to join a sorority. And specifically a Chicana/Latina sorority, which is something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm very proud of my culture. I'm very proud of being Latina. My mom's Mexican, and I just love it. I speak Spanish all the time. I listen to Spanish music like banda and corridos and everything. So I wanted to join a community that would understand me at a deeper level other than just being a student at UCSD. And luckily I was able to find a lot of sisters that, share a lot of the same interests as me, are in neighboring cities like Natalie, and it's just been a great experience.
I feel the same way. I'm also part of Sigma Pi Alpha, and I feel like I found so much community there. Just how Jalene said, like, sisterhood I feel like it is another level deeper than just friendship, because I feel like I can count on my sisters for anything, and maybe I can have like bigger with Jalene a little bit, but I know like 5 minutes later, like, she'll be there for me to help me with whatever I need. So it is truly like a sister thing, arguing with your sibling or something. But yeah, thank you for sharing. And yeah, the sorority, just having other strong, independent Latina women at a big university like UCSD with you just makes a really big difference and really makes you feel like you belong. So thank you for sharing. And I also wanted you to talk a little bit more about Mecha. I know you're super invested in social work, and Mecha is one of the ways that you project that interest.
I have been involved in that one, specifically joining a couple leadership positions, such as being like academic chair during my third year, and then being social chair, which is, I think to me, is the best of both worlds. I was able to, engage students, finding scholarship opportunities for them, making sure that I hosted a community space on campus that we were all able to study in. I would host events at the Raza Resource Center on campus, and buy conchas and pan dulce and coffee, and give some supplies, some blue books, which are the books that we use to write our essays in for midterms, and just have a space where we can call our own and make ourselves feel comfortable, engage in a little bit of talk, but also be scholars. And then I was also the social chair, which is the complete opposite, engaging students to make sure they have friends on campus, that they feel like they have a community, and make sure that it's fun. I like studying, I like learning, but I also really want to enjoy my time here and make memorable memorable experiences with people that I would hope to be my friends, even after college. So as social chair, I hosted a couple of events on campus. I received funding from the school and, got like Latinx food, like tacos, or, just having some stuff, buying a piñata and breaking it in the middle of campus. Like, who would have thought that would be something that you would want to participate in? But it's an experience that I will take throughout my life forever, being able to say that, I created a space that other people felt comfortable in, and I think that is really nice. Apart from holding leadership positions with them, just participating and being socially aware of all the injustices that happen on campus, in the world, in our city, and worldwide, and educating the student body about that. So hosting our GBMs, which are our general body meetings, and making sure that we talk about issues that matter. So during the elections, we talk about the props and try to explain it as best as we can, try to find the resources for others to educate themselves and vote, or participate in rallies for marching for graduate students to receive better wages, things like that. So there's a lot of things that I learned through MedChab, and a lot of things that I feel like I can pass on through that work as well.
So if you could give any advice to younger Jalene before UCSD, what would it be?
I would tell myself to believe in myself, to never doubt that I can't be an engineer. In my classes, there are not that many people who are women, who are Latinas at that. So it's really difficult to feel like I belong sometimes. But I wish I would have known before I came I wish I would have made myself believe that I knew that I belonged, that if I wanted to be there, I could make it work and I can learn. That was like one of the biggest things that I think was something that I still even deal with right now. I'm a fifth year. I've been here for 5 years, and I still sometimes doubt myself in my senior classes if I can do this or not. But I'm only 2 classes away from having an aerospace engineering degree. And it's silly. I've done this work. I know I can do it. I'm great at it. But it's still really hard because there's not enough representation, I think. So that's something that I would have told myself when I was younger, understanding the idea of imposter syndrome, which is, I guess, the belief that you're not enough or that what you're doing is not correct. Basically believing that you're an imposter, that in the space that you're in is not where you're supposed to be, and that you don't belong and you can't do it. That's something that I didn't know until my second year. And after I learned that term, it's when it clicked. I was like, oh my God. So that's what I've been feeling for these past 2 years. Like, I wish I would have known this sooner so I can unpack it on my own and understand why I feel these things and get on with it.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice for first-gen Latinx students to hear. I just hope that everyone realizes that we belong, even though there isn't much representation. We will be that representation in the future for the future generations to come. And yeah, I'm really proud of all the work that you've been doing and that all the Latinx, Chicanx students have been doing in higher education. So is there any advice that you would want to give to parents about how they should handle their relationship with their children as they're navigating higher education?
I think if I'm speaking like from my own experience, like my mom wasn't really she didn't really know about the college system or anything. So I feel like it was a little difficult for my part to be able, 17-year-old trying to navigate FAFSA and making sure that I input everything accurately because I have no idea what this is. It's really difficult, and at times I was a little frustrated because I knew that there were people whose parents would do everything for them because they had experience with higher education. So it's a little bit frustrating, but I think my mom always provided me with unconditional emotional support, and I knew that was the most she can give me, and it was unconditional, and that was enough for me. So I would say for parents, if you feel like you're not helping enough, just provide what you can, and just always motivate your child to pursue anything that they want. If they want to join, if they want to come to UCSD, push them and encourage them. If they want to join higher education or and anything, just providing that unconditional support, because as a first-gen student, sometimes we think, are we reaching too high? Is this too much? But just providing that support or receiving that support from your parents is sometimes all we need, to take a shot.
Thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I just want to know, what are your plans for the future? What is Jalene going to do after graduation?
So I received a full-time offer from Northrop Grumman to work as an engineer after college. So after graduation, I will take a little vacation and then join in the fall as a full-time engineer, which is super cool. I never thought that the time would come, but I'm really excited.
I'm really excited too. But yeah, thank you so much, Jalene, for giving us your time. It was very inspiring hearing your story, and I wish you the best, and congrats on graduating.
Thank you so much, Natalie.